Kicking? Oh, I want to do some kicking!
Why, you? What?
Okay, welcome back. Today, I am going to continue the Simpsons predictions to determine whether or not they really predicted some bullshit, or is just some wishful thinking for Glazers to believe because of how much they want to suck their rotten yellow cock. Anyway, since the last video about the predictions fell a little too short, I decided to make this video much more longer as I can, so that I can technically hit 4 birds with 1 stone. And obviously make it worth your while. So, let's begin. So we're going to be talking about the 4 things that was left from the previous video. Let's start first with one of the most historical moments that changed the whole world forever.
Hi, baby. Baby, you have to listen to me carefully. I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, babe. I hope to be able to see your face again, baby. I love you. Bye.
On September 11 of 2001, 19 people hijacked 4 commercial airliners, 2 of which hit both of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. Almost 3,000 people lost their lives that day, with thousands more injured. This was considered to be one of the most terrifying, destructive, and tragic events that aired in live television. 24 years later, the people still remembers and pay their respects with memorials to the lives lost to that very day. On The Simpsons, people associate this image or scene where Bart Simpson holds a New York magazine, with the cover eerily showing the number 9, which is the price of that magazine, and the Twin Towers in the background. Now, what makes this really unnerving to accept is the fact that the Twin Towers in the background can also be represented as the number 11, thus giving the look or the illusion that the magazine is trying to tell us something, as if 9 and 11 would mean something, but we just don't know what. But you would ask, what was the episode all about, and was there really any connections about it? Well, here is the episode and how it went. Well, this was the first episode of Season 9, which is also titled The City of New York vs. Homer Simpson. Considering that title, you would be given the idea on what the episode is going to be all about. But if you're still unsure on what the episode is, let me tell you a summary of what happened in that episode. The episode begins with Barney being chosen as the designated driver during a night out with the guys, having fun time and all. However, after dropping everyone off, he disappeared for 2 months, only to return with Homer's car, which he abandoned in New York City. The Simpsons family receives a letter from the New York City government, notifying them that Homer's car is illegally parked in the middle of Manhattan and needs to be picked up.
Dear motorist, your vehicle is illegally parked in the borough of Manhattan.
My vehicle!
If you do not remedy this malparkage within 72 hours, your car will be thrown into the East River at your expense.
Homer is furious because he had bad memories of New York City. But the rest of the family is excited to visit, and happily so. When they arrive, Homer separates from the family to deal with the car, which is parked in front of the World Trade Center Plaza. Unfortunately, he ends up stuck there for the entire day, waiting for a parking officer to show up. While he suffers, the rest of the Simpsons enjoy New York City's sights and culture. Eventually, Homer snaps, destroys the car's boot, and drives it home, despite the car being nearly undrivable and broken along the way. The family finds him back on the road, and they all head back to Springfield together in the wrecked car.
We'll see, honey.
Now, this episode actually originally aired during September 21 of 1997, which is roughly 4 years before the events of 9/11 occurring, which happened on September 11 of 2001. Now, considering these factors, did The Simpsons really predict 9/11? Well, to answer that question, they didn't. Now, hear me out. This is more of pure coincidence than an actual prediction. A very eerie coincidence, with the connections only being that the episode occurred on the same month and involved with the same place of interest, which is the World Trade Center. In that episode, however, we never really saw any planes or any tragedies occurring in that episode. Despite the magazine may have implicated something of significance, as if it was trying to send that message directly to the audience. All I can say is, this was more of an eerie coincidence. On August 4, 2020, a port warehouse located in Beirut, Lebanon, caught on fire, which resulted to a massive explosion due to a stockpile of ammonium nitrate, a highly explosive chemical compound that was confiscated back in 2014 from a cargo ship named the MV Rosas, and it was stored without proper safety measures for 6 years. The explosion resulted in 220 victims, while 7,000 people were left injured, and about 300,000 individuals were displaced. The blast energy was comparable to 1.1 kilotons of TNT, which was enough to actually generate a 3.3 magnitude earthquake. And if you want to know how strong 1.1 kilotons of TNT is, the bomb that was dropped in Hiroshima was about 15 kilotons of TNT, which was enough to decimate the entire city. The explosion from Beirut was only 7% compared to Hiroshima, Japan. Now in The Simpsons, social media associated this image as the prediction on the Beirut explosion, claiming that the episode tried to warn everyone of an upcoming explosion that would occur in the future. However, the image was never given a proper context on what caused it in the first place. Lucky for you, I am here to explain what really happened and what episode is this, and where the incident had occurred. On the first episode of Season 16, titled The Ned Zone, which is actually a Treehouse of Horror 15 special, Ned discovers that he is terminally ill after Homer knocks him out accidentally with a bowling ball.
Oh, there's the frisbee!
However, the removal of the tumor ends up giving Ned the ability of premonition, the ability to see the fate of one's future in a very unpleasant way by simply touching them.
Oh man, is this gonna hurt? That's better.
Oh, another setback.
So basically, Final Destination. He then saw Homer's death, which is caused by Ned shooting him. Homer, finding this a joke, taunts Ned to shoot him.
Even if I whack the barrel like this. Blip, blip, blip.
However, Ned instead changes fate by destroying the gun, preventing Homer's death. Believing that this saves Homer, Ned, filled with joy, decides to hug Homer. But doing so, he ends up seeing another premonition. This time, it's Homer blowing up the entirety of Springfield via the power plant. To prevent the lives of hundreds being taken, Ned tries his best to prevent Homer from causing the explosion. However, fate has other plans, as many complications prevents Ned from warning Homer.
Press destruct button.
Because of this, the sacrifice of one to save hundreds was necessary, and Ned shoots Homer, which made the first premonition a reality, killing Homer. Thinking Ned saved Springfield, Homer inadvertently presses the core destruct button, and you know what happens next.
Oh, you stupid son of a...
The mini-episode then ends with The Simpsons and Ned going up to heaven and meeting up with God.
Homer Simpson, it's time you got what's coming to you. Your frisbee.
Cool. You guys got a good buffet up here?
Oh yeah.
The episode originally aired on October 31st of 2004, roughly 16 years before the Beirut explosion ended. Now, did The Simpsons predicted this? Well, of course, they did not. The cause and location of the explosion from the episode is too far apart to be considered as a prediction. It barely had a connection. The Beirut explosion was caused by a fire that ignited the ammonium nitrate that was located in a warehouse, while the explosion from the episode was caused by Ned and Homer in a power plant. So obviously, this is just another example of people spreading misinformation just to get more views or attention, not realizing that their actions end up creating a cult following that The Simpsons are forecasters of one's fate.
Good afternoon from New York. We're coming on the air with breaking news, very sad news to tell the sports world. The LA Times is reporting that retired Los Angeles Lakers basketball star Kobe Bryant has been killed in a helicopter crash. It happened this morning. The chopper reportedly went down just before 10 a.m. local time, according to Fire.
On January 26, 2020, in Calabasas, California, a Sikorsky S-76 helicopter crashed after departing from John Wayne Airport in Orange County, taking the lives of 9 people on board, 2 of which was the NBA legend Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. The purpose of the trip was to travel towards Camarillo Airport in Ventura County for a basketball game at Mamba Sports Academy in Thousand Oaks. Little did they know that it would be their last. On The Simpsons, social media, of course, had to create and speculate a conspiracy that these 2 images played a role in Kobe's untimely demise, saying that The Simpsons, as they say, did it again. But in all honesty, this was more of a disrespect to a beloved person who sadly passed away from a tragedy. The first image shows a helicopter crashing towards a building, while the other shows Kobe Bryant holding a basketball, while in the art style of The Simpsons. Now, to fully understand the circumstances of these 2 images, let's dissect them one by one and determine where it came from and what occurred in those 2 episodes. And yes, these 2 images are from 2 different episodes. On Season 6, Episode 12, titled Homer the Great, Homer notices that Lenny, Carl, and Mr. Burns are receiving special perks and privileges, and he suspects that they are part of a secret club. Some Illuminati stuff, huh? He follows them and then he soon discovers the existence of the Stonecutters, which is an exclusive secret society, mimicking of that of the Freemasons or the Illuminati. Homer tries to join, of course, but he was initially rejected, until they all realize he has a birthmark identifying him as the Chosen One from an ancient prophecy. Once he was declared as the Chosen One, Homer is given royal treatment and absolute power within the society.
I always wondered if there was a god. And now I know. There is. And it's me.
You're not a god, Homer.
However, his attempts to improve the group with community services bores everyone. One of these attempts involves repainting a building with the same color of the sky. Because of this, a helicopter ends up crashing into it.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Simpson. It looks so much better. A beautiful sky blue.
Eventually, the Stonecutters disbands. However, the members then forms a new secret society called the No Homers Club, which, well, as it says, Homer isn't allowed to join.
Hey, fellas, can I join?
Sorry, no homers.
Aww.
The episode originally aired on January 8th of 1995. On the other episode, which is the first episode of Season 23, titled The Falcon and the Dough Man, this episode introduces a new Springfield nuclear power plant security guard. His name is Wayne, a mysterious and skilled ex-CIA agent with a dark past. As the episode begins, Homer befriends Wayne, who is emotionally distant but lethal in combat. Midway through the episode, Wayne is invited into the Simpsons' residence. Bart, as always being a curious boy, asks Wayne on how he learns his fighting style. Wayne reveals that he had special training shown in a flashback, where he fights multiple pop culture characters in different media. One of them being Kobe Bryant. The episode originally aired on September 25 of 2011. Now, considering these contexts, it's already obvious that the prediction is debunked, or in a much more proper term, fabricated. The helicopter that Kobe was in crashed on a mountain, not a building that is the color of the sky. And Kobe Bryant was never involved in a training session with an ex-CIA agent. Social media just legit used 2 images from 2 different episodes to create a Frankenstein's monster of a claim. And in all honesty, I kind of find this very disrespectful to try and grab the attention of everyone over the death of a beloved celebrity.
Man.
Look how they doing people out here. Got him bleed on the ground. He crying. That's sick.
Please. Please. Please, I can't breathe. Please, man. Please, somebody help me.
On May 25 of 2020, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 4 policemen were called and arrested the 46-year-old man after the store clerk reported that the man made a purchase with counterfeit cash. The man was arrested and was pinned down to the ground while one police officer had his knee on the man's neck while he was lying face down. Despite the man's distress and troubled breathing, the officers ignored his request and of the bystanders witnessing the incident. Several minutes later, the man has stopped responding, and shortly after, he had no pulse and was confirmed to have passed away. The name of that man was George Floyd. The death of a single man sparked outrage and has resulted into the creation of a massive movement, which is the Black Lives Matter, where people protested over the injustice, racism, and anti-black violence, especially police brutality. Of course, social media had to try and figure out if the Simpsons predicted this as well, and oh boy, how they tried. The images shown were quote-unquote evidences on how they predicted the death of George Floyd and the riot that had occurred throughout America. Unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, this is proven false, and here's why. The image that showcases the burning police precinct actually comes from episode 6 of season 11, titled Hello Gutter, Hello Fodder. In the episode, Homer wants to avoid the traffic by driving along the grass instead of the highway, but Chief Wiggum pulls him over. The two then have a quick conversation where a rhetorical question from Wiggum is presented by a real answer from Homer.
All right, smart guy, where's the fire?
Over there?
Okay, you just bought yourself a 317, pointing out police stupidity. Or is that a 314? No, 314 is a dog,
This episode was aired on November 14 of 1999. Now, social media associated the scene of the burning police precinct to this image that was claimed to be a burning police station as well. However, this image was confirmed to be an unfinished multi-story house complex set ablaze near a third precinct. So basically, the scene from The Simpsons does not have connections to police brutality, riots, protests, or even George Floyd himself. And lastly, this image, which shows Chief Higgum committing the same actions that pinned George Floyd, is actually not from an episode. It's actually an artwork which was created by a person named Yuri Pomo, who is actually a celebrity's cartoonist. And because of this, people ended up misinterpreting what the purpose of the art was and ended up causing misinformation that The Simpsons actually predicted this, in which they did not. So that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoy this kind of content made by me. It's a huge shift from what I usually make, but I hope this gives me more variety on my content going forward. If you have any other predictions that I missed, feel free to let me know in the comments. And again, thank you for being patient with me, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Howdy. Bye-bye.